Hello, my name is Lobegeiger de Rodriguez and I'm the Chief Speech Pathologist at Voice Science, Melbourne's premier accent reduction, fluency and voice clinic located in Collins Street in the CBD. I'm really thrilled to share with you some of the words that are complete nightmares to pronounce even for English native speakers. This video, hopefully, will give you some tips for negotiating the TH sound in some of its worst and most challenging positions. Now, as a disclaimer, this video is not here to show you exactly how to make the TH sound, because if that sound is in error, it often needs tailored training one-on-one. But it is to give you a few tips about how to negotiate the pitfalls of getting through one of these very distinct sounds of English. The very first word is one that I always personally have to take care with. It might seem really ironic. However, as a native speaker even, when I go to pronounce the name of my profession, speech pathologist, I certainly need to take care that I don't say speech pathologist. Now, the key to mastering TH in the middle of the word is to not forget the very quality and category of the sound. The sound is a fricative, which means it must sustain. In the middle of the word, it is very difficult to sustain and feel comfortable holding the sound even as a native speaker. Our tongue is out, it feels the outside air, it wants to return to the warmth of our mouth cavity, but don't let it. The key to pronouncing TH in the middle of words successfully is to sustain the position of your tongue and just blow air through. Speech pathologist. And we have many words that feature this type of position with the TH. TH in the middle is probably one of the killers. We've got words like toothache. It's enough to give you one. Bathmat. Without. The next one is arguably often produced in error even by local English speakers, the word throughout. Now, the problem here is we're negotiating some of the most difficult sounds to pronounce for English native speakers. We know this because TH and R are often the last sounds that children master when they're learning to speak. So with this combination, TH plus R, I want you to really take care that you're true to both sounds. We can't take shortcuts. We have to have a long and we have to have a true r. If you're from a European language background that has a trilled r, make sure you do not trill the trill, and the way to avoid that is to sustain the TH. So listen to this, throughout versus throughout. So take care with that one, hold the TH, that's your starting point, and don't think about R until you've given it the duration it needs. Throughout. We have a lot of words for this one. I'll mention a few. The first one is throat. And another one that is happening all the time if you're talking about currency, numbers, you know, how many things you have, that's the word three. Take care with that. That also can break down and become tree, which is not very helpful. The next term is a medical term. And in case you don't know, I work with a lot of medical professionals as well, helping them to negotiate and get through the really tough medical words of English, which are more often than not really hard to say because they've got lots of syllables and often they've come from Latin roots, so the sounds are quite different from what we may be used to in everyday conversational English. So here is the killer word. I could pretty much bet that most locals would get this wrong when they pronounce it, but a great exercise for all of you to try to ensure that you're true to the TH sound when it's voiceless. So here we go. Anaesthetic. So here we've got an S plus a TH. In this instance, it's too hard to sort of fuse the sounds very quickly together because S has my tongue behind my teeth, TH has my tongue out in the room. It takes time to move into position. So what I would recommend you do is that you split the word in two. So you go for the front of the word, anas, keep the S on the first syllable, thetic. I'll do that again. So we go anesthetic. anaesthetic. So we want to break it in two. And that's a really good technique to use for the following word. A very common word, especially if you're going to the ATM, withdraw. So you don't want to try and link this sound. If you link it, it will distort, withdraw or delete. So keep the TH at the front syllable, with, and then start a new withdraw. And this is my recommendation for any compound word of English that contains TH in the middle of the word, like without, toothache, bathrobe, and so on. The very last one affects any word that comes from this verb, but I'll take the past tense form, thought, thought. Now, I'll do it again. This time I want you to watch what my tongue has to do to get from the very first sound of the word, TH, to the vowel, thought. You can't see a lot with the tongue once it gets off the TH, and that is because the vowel is moving to the back of my mouth, which means my tongue is pulling backwards. So I've got a very frontal tongue position, thought, and I move it and pull it back. Every time you move from a TH sound to the back vowels, you will need to take extra time. You can't get from that position as quickly as a front vowel. So give it time, sustain the sound, make it long, and don't move off it until you're completely comfortable. Thought, thought. Think will be much quicker and easier because it is at the front of the mouth, but or is pulling back with the tongue, and my lips also have to work. So give it the time it needs. Thought. That's all for today. I hope you found this video insightful. My goal was really just to show you some of the challenges with the sound, so you realize that it's not just about not being able to pronounce the TH sound consistently. It's about where does the sound break down for you, and these are some ideas that could give you insight into what you could watch out for. If you're really concerned about any of your pronunciations for the sounds of English, please don't hesitate to contact me. I offer diagnostic assessment appointments, and the very purpose of the assessment is actually to identify sounds such as TH and to look into detail at how they're breaking down so that we can put in place a drill and training approach for you that corrects the sound really effectively. My name is Lobegeiger de Rodriguez, Chief Speech Pathologist at Voice Science. Pathologist, watch out for that one. Have a great day. Ciao.